Hi, I'm Luke Andrew Feeney, or LA for short, as I'm more commonly known. I am 25 years of age and I'm from Dublin, Ireland. I am a professional performing artist, dancer, mover, creator, choreographer, actor, thinker, speaker, person who basically just has fun for a living. I have been dancing hip hop since I was 16 when Fly Dance Studio first opened their studio. That's when I found hip hop, and thanks to them I was able to go to classes consistently out in the first studio in Smithfield. Dance came quite late in my life in the end. I was 16 when I first kind of started dancing, and I had been performing my whole life. I've been doing speech and drama since I was 4, and I found dance and found the ability to tell stories. That's a big thing for me, storytelling, through another outlet, through dance. I had always been quite a big fan of seeing dance on TV and YouTube and stuff like that. I lived in the era where we were just starting to kind of look online for things and stuff like that, and as a result of that, it came into my life and I found a new way of expressing, a new way of moving, and a new way of telling stories without actually having to use words. So for me, it has had a massive impact on my life. I now am lucky enough to call myself a professional dancer, and I get to create and explore thoughts and ideas through my dance as well as through my just performing in general. So it has had a massive impact on my life. So, this is one of the best questions I get asked whenever I'm asked, because it's always a weird one. No one expects some of the answers that I come out with. So Britain's Got Talent was always on in my house. It's a big inspiration of mine, and the obvious ones like Diversity, Michael Jackson, these big artists and creators in my life. But the key one for me, because my dad is actually English and he's originally from Birmingham, there was a Brummie-based dancer who performed on Britain's Got Talent called Aidan Davis, who did a very famous, in my head, solo to Justin Timberlake. Give me a girl, bounce, that song. And I remember seeing that on Britain's Got Talent, and that was the first kind of key thing for me as a dancer growing up, in terms of a person, as well as obviously the obvious ones like Diversity, Michael Jackson. And then music-wise, I didn't realize how much of an effect it had on me until recent years, but my dad's a massive electronic music fan, and we used to listen to a lot of Kraftwerk when I was younger. I only started doing popping and robot and animation, that kind of style, during COVID, during 2020, when I really dived deep into that style, and I didn't realize how much of an effect Kraftwerk had on the music that we danced to in that style. A lot of the samples used nowadays are from Kraftwerk, so Kraftwerk is another big inspiration for me. Yeah, that's mainly where my kind of shaping is. I know it's not a lot in Ireland. I was quite late to finding the inspiration in Ireland. When I found it in Ireland, it was the obvious ones like Fly Dance Studio, Kerry Milne, Zach Milne, Amy Ford, Ian Harris, the people who were teaching here. I was quite late to finding that, but my first inspirations were, yeah, Aidan Davis is a gold dust, is gold dust when you think about it. I think for the two different kind of outlets that I use, it'd either be choreography or freestyle. I do a lot of freestyle. For me, this is all of this is subjective, and it is my own personal opinion. So people might say different things, but for me, the key difference between choreography and freestyle is that choreography is just structured freestyle. Everyone will come into a studio, if they're going to create choreography, play a song and start moving and see what happens. They'll gain an idea, and as a result of that idea, they'll push on. So it always, for me, is choreography is rooted within freestyle. Freestyle is just, it's in the name, it's free. It's free of style, it's free of movement, it's freedom to express in whatever way you want, in whatever way you like to move. For me, as I've mentioned before, my style is more popping and animation, which is robot, isolation, more kind of that vibe. So, and illusionary dance forms. So that's my vibe in terms of freestyling. It can be sectioned off into different stylistic preferences. Some people can freestyle within hip hop, popping, locking, whacking, vogue, breaking. You've got all your hip hop styles, as well as freestyling in contemporary. Improvisation is a massive key component. I would argue my point being that choreography is just structured freestyle. For me, when it's choreography based, a choreographer comes in and gives their opinion on a song, and I think that's a really handy starting point, as well as then when you're freestyling. For me, when I'm trying to make a connection to music, I will let it like seep into me and how I feel with it and how it makes me want to move, rather than going in with a set idea. Obviously you've got your foundations and your moves that you're used to, so like they will come out. But I think with regards to that, I think it's just like listening to the layers. Lyrics can be a really handy thing to really help you connect to music. The way an artist might be singing or rapping, the subject that they're rapping about. I think for me the key thing is letting the music move you rather than feeling like you have to move to the music, I think is the main thing for me. Oh, there's definitely both sides, 100%. And I think they can either coexist or they can exist on their own. I do think for me as a storyteller since like very young, the emotional side of dance is a very big thing for me. It's a funny juxtaposition in my style because my dance style is very technical and very intricate. So I am very well known for being very detailed in my movement and very intricate. So for me, I have a massive, I'm quite new to kind of the dance theater side and making theater and stuff like that. So I've been working on my own stuff. But a big thing for me is I don't like when you walk into an audience and you're watching a piece of theater and you leave not knowing what's going on and you feel a bit dumb, you feel a bit of an idiot. So my big thing is a story, and the emotional side of dance should be the thing that connects an audience to your technical ability as well. They should really marry to provide an interesting performance to watch. I think it also depends on what way you want to approach creation or freestyle or whatever. I do some dance battling as well, so that's a completely different side. I wouldn't necessarily walk into a dance battle and think really emotional thoughts. Sometimes it is, you'll come out, you'll do something, I go, oh, I know how to do that technically, but I can do it better, so I'm gonna go do that. Do you know what I mean? It really depends on the outlet you're doing. For me, the narrative is always the emotional side, and the narrative driven stuff is what makes dance what it is, in my opinion. This is a really interesting one because, like you've said, that there's a lot more people coming out to teach and a lot more people coming out to learn. I think for me, the way you keep this mindset healthy is that you can go into a space with anybody and know that I can learn something from you and you can learn something from me. Each one teach one is what we call it. I think it's a big thing to keeping yourself sane and not constantly comparing yourself to everybody. I think with social media and the internet, and it's so easy nowadays to look at someone on social media and go, oh, they're doing that and I'm not. That's really, like, I want to be there. We really need to try our best not to compare ourselves. And the big thing for me is you can walk into a space and everyone can learn something from everybody. Whether it's the simple like, oh, I put my finger there, but you put it there, that's interesting. Or it's something a lot more deeper. I do think we can always learn something from everybody. And for me, I recently I was fighting with that kind of keeping the mindset healthy and stuff. And one thing you realize is go back to when you first started. And someone said this to me recently. It was a theatre show I saw called Find Your Eyes in the Dublin Theatre Festival end of last year by a Manchester-based artist who originally was a popper, which is my dance style, so it was a deeper connection for me. They said in an interview they always hold the hand of their younger self going through this career path, and remembering that you are holding, for me it's the 16-year-old boy who decided that dance was going to be a big thing in his life and why he did it, which was because he really enjoyed it. I think that's a big thing for me, remembering the amount of enjoyment you get out of what's going on and what you're doing, and just thanking, I'm a religious man myself, or whatever you believe in, just thanking God that I actually have the ability to still do it is a big thing. I think, yeah, there's been times where, like, especially if it's stylistically something I'm not used to, that's when obviously it's a struggle and it's a push, but it's the moment to get better, and it's those weird kind of uneven and like moments that you're not feeling comfortable that you grow and you get better. I think the way to do it is just to make sure the mind doesn't win. The negative thoughts don't win in your head that are like, oh, you can't do this, oh, I don't know, you're not used to this. You can't let them win. You've got to keep pushing and keep going, and just you will feel the reward, you will reap the benefits later on when, for example, if you're in a choreography class and someone does something and you can't do it, you really push to try get it, so the next time it comes up you won't be as worried. I think, yeah, it's the idea of just constantly keeping growing and keeping going and keeping moving, and we're just trying to progress as a dancer, as an artist, as a mover. And I think when it comes to trying to connect, for me, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again, but narrative is a massive thing for me. So if you can create a little story in your head of how you would be portraying what you're either being given or what you're trying to create, if you always come back to the narrative and the music will always give you a way to go. Dance inspirations for me, there's the obvious ones like my mentors from very young, Kerry Milne, Zach Milne, Ian Harris, Amy Ford, Douglas Redden, all these people who fostered my growth when I was younger, Jose Galang as well. All these people who under the Fly Dance Studio roof really were the reason I am the artist I am today. And more current ones would be a guy called Max Revel, who's from the UK, dances very similar to me, is an amazing creative artist. And then new ones like shout out Alex O'Neill, a new mentor of mine. And then I think my peers as well, the people you're around. We just recently finished a show with Fly Dance Studio called Thrive. That's where we ended up meeting properly. And I think I hadn't been in a room with all my peers creating like that at that high level for a while. So it was really nice just to be back around my peers and see people push the new company, and some of us OGs, some old guys who've been around for so long. It was really, really nice. And then outside of the creative space, I think my parents, it's such an obvious answer, but my parents have really pushed me to keep going. My mum and dad are so behind me. They know that their big thing is it's not if, it's when it happens, when this career will take off and I will be lucky enough to be a fully fledged professional performing artist, more than I am now. And then other things, I'm a massive football fan, so that kind of keeps me going as well. Aston Villa, biggest club in the world. You're shaking your head. You're not Arsenal, are you? Oh God. And then there's other kind of people in the creative space that aren't necessarily dancers that I'd pick from. I love just anyone who's passionate about anything. If you've got passion about something, I find it really inspiring, because you can see the passion for something else that's going on. I've been saying this one a lot and it's very obvious, but just move your body and have fun, because that is what it's all about at the end of the day. If you go into a more detailed kind of space, it depends where you would like to go with it. I think pinpointing exactly where you'd like to go is a very good starting point. If whether it's stage, whether it's theatre, whether it's behind an artist, whether it's freestyle, whether it's choreography, whatever it is, I spent a long while saying like, oh, I want to do everything, and I still do want to do everything, but you realize that if you pinpoint something, you can really allow yourself to tunnel vision it and make your skills still broad enough to do everything, but really help you in pushing towards that space. For me, at the moment, it changes all the time, but theatre is a massive thing for me. Dance theatre especially. It's a really nice middle ground between what I first fell in love with when I was younger, which was speech and drama and acting, and what I'm doing now, which is dance, and finding that middle ground. Yeah, and then in terms of like, if skills wise, I think always drills, foundations. We're living in a time where you could look up the word like tutorials on foundations online, whatever style you want to do, and you will find it. And all the different social media platforms will be able to do it. There's great creators around. Specifically, if someone's looking to learn something that I'm doing, there's a really incredible creator called Motherfunk. Shout out Lucia. She's from Scotland, a friend of mine from Scotland, and she does a lot of social media stuff around this popping style, and she's very, very good for it as well. Yeah, sure. This is the part I don't like. I don't like talking about myself. But I am in the process of creating some various theatre pieces. I've got my body of work Fused, which is grounded in my passionate belief that dancers should be able to dance to any genre of music at any tempo, no matter what dance style you do. So that, fingers crossed, is in the works. Hopefully by the end of this year, if not the start of next year, I'll be able to put on a proper performance of that. A big one, if this is out before then, the Red Bull Dance Your Style finals are the 6th of June in the Ambassador Theatre, 600 people, 600 capacity venue. It's going to be incredible. I'm lucky enough to have qualified to be one of the performers, the competitors at it. So all of the support at that would be greatly appreciated. It's an amazing event. It's 16 of the best dancers in the country battling it out against each other on commercial-based music, charts music, some random music played in there as well. So it will be a spectacle for people to watch. It's all audience voted as well, so the audience get to have their say. I think it would be great if people could come through and support our scene for that. And then I guess if I'm shouting myself out, at LA Feeney with 2 Ys on Instagram. That's mainly where everything comes through. I am in the process of working on something else as a platform for myself to show off my work, but I'm going to keep that a bit hush-hush for the moment. But just remember, it's always about doing something completely different.